I can't. One, for you personally, why wouldn't you?
Well, first, I never have, and secondly, once I learned more about it, I didn't want to. And I know that's everybody's choice. I understand that.
Currently, it's a choice. Yeah,
that's right. I want to keep it that way. When we had our children, we have a 7 and 10-year-old right now. And actually, our youngest.
Why would you feel uncomfortable giving them a vaccine?
Well, this is what's kind of weird. So we're sitting there in front of the doctor. Imagine if you're sitting in front of the doctor and he brings out this really cool little vial, little bitty thing.
Right.
And
a little vial full of stuff. And
a little stuff. And he wants to squirt this into your kid.
How many other studies did you have that you used aborted fetuses for?
Oh, I don't remember how many.
You're aware? Are you aware that one of the objections to vaccination by the plaintiff in this case is the inclusion of aborted fetal tissue in the development of vaccines and the fact that it's actually part of the ingredients of vaccines?
Yeah, I'm aware of those objections. The Catholic Church has actually issued a document on that which says that individuals who need the vaccine should receive the vaccines regardless of the fact, and that I think it implies that I am the individual who will go to hell because of the use of aborted tissues, which I am glad to do.
That word salad did not help him at all.
Mr. Doctor, and drop it on the floor and it breaks, you're required to evacuate the office and part of the building.
Right, for what's in the vaccine.
Right, but it's okay to squirt it in my kid. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so these clips here that I'm about to play you, these are censored clips that I'm commenting on. I'm doing a commentary on that. The Black Mass was told that apparently he has more favor than the rest of us, including in the clips. That's what I was playing, is that these, I guess, Satanists or Luciferians are stating that right here that they're sort of like the Black Lives Matter people. These ladies are stating that they're really upset that their rights are not being observed. They need special privileges because they're just trying to worship Satan at the Capitol. There's a lady that is about to be praying in the name of Jesus who came to the state capitol and was crying. Here she is, and she just said, I just wanted to tell them about Jesus in these clips. That's all I wanted to do. And the police are going to come, so here's the police. So praying is called protesting for her, and just saying I wanted to tell them about Jesus. The police are going to grab her and pull her to jail. Whereas a man dressed like Satan that was over there harassing her, I guess, or whatever, and as it looked like was mocking at her, is not going anywhere. They're going to be escorted to the state capitol where they're allowed to have their pentagram, and they're going to do their, almost seems like the thing the comedian Will Ferrell did on his satanic
really
ritual-looking thing that was supposed to be funny, but looked kind of creepy. Here they are in your state capitol doing their satanic worship. Capitol doing their satanic worship.
Dr. Reingold is betting that herd immunity is how this will end.
If we're starting with a population where no one is immune to this virus, which is what we assume.
This is writings from the group who loaned this $2 trillion to the U.S. government. This is what
Probably the Bilderbergs.
They're writing amongst themselves about us.
About us, the cattle, the cattle in the herd, because it's herd immunity during the
I don't know, though.
coronavirus we want to achieve.
I would guess it's the Bilderbergs.
Protocol number 1, and the opening protocol, the author here is telling his audience, the other members of the same group that he's in Europe. What I'm about to set forth, then, is our own system from the 2 points of view, that of ourselves and that of the cattle. Or they also call you.
They call us the cattle in the document?
They actually call you the goyim. And in short form, that means you're an animal, you're a goyim, you're cattle. You're not actually human.
There are some statues, like this one here, that I have not heard any reports about having been anything bad done to. Now, you can see the star, the pentagram on the forehead of the goat. The goat is always hermaphrodite. It's part male, part female, which is one of the big political pushes, and there's always something about the children. The snakes are going to be coming up from where the Yuhu would be on the character, and of course the wings symbolizing this goat-headed character, just like sky.
So there's 2 points of view. Them, the real humans, and us, the cattle. It must be noted that men with bad instincts are more in number than the good, and therefore the best results in governing them are attained by violence and terrorism. And not,
This is what it says in the text. The best
it's
way
the
of
opening
controlling them.
statement. Right.
This is the opening statement.
Right.
Violence and terrorism.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
not by academic discussions. That's
Not
the
by,
opening
so they're
statement.
scared of academic discussions in their own documents. Okay, and this
Yeah.
is the opening line. Can we scoot that up and kind of, can you hold it a little bit
Yeah,
while
yeah.
you read it? I'd say, and these are also, in the hours of all sorts of medical things being pushed on you, Mike hit a pyramid one time. Speaking of talking about pyramids with eyes in the center, Mike hit a pyramid, one of these Mayan ones in South America. Okay, so what these clips were, this Black Mass is what the clip was titled, at the front of one of the Capitol buildings. And notice the flags back here are identical to many. We went to many of the Black Lives Matter protests, and the flags would be painted black, which I was stating that I think it's a real offense to black people. But whatever
It's
the
an
case,
offense
the
to
flags
humanity,
are identical to many of the
because
ones
it's an
that we
attack on
saw at those
humanity and
different protests.
Christianity.
You can actually go
And
look
more
at footage of that.
Christianity
I
than
didn't even
anything. It's
realize
an
it at the
attack
time,
on your
but these are the
spirit.
same flags. Some of the dates that
All
the
together,
COVID-19
it's an attack
landed
on your
on
spirit.
were high. That they,
It's
there was,
an attack
seemed like the
on
things
the
sprung
Most
forth
High,
were
our Lord,
happened to be high occult holy
our
days.
Creator,
I would
our
note
Father,
for the record that coming up in
our
October,
Heavenly
September,
Father,
you run into more of your,
and His Son,
if you're looking for another
the
virus
Redeemer
to
of our
pop forth,
souls,
or a
Yeshua,
stronger dose of whatever this was,
Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't be shocked if it appears with great force on the high holy days, where some sets of people can point and say, ooh, those evil people gathering, just like in the Kim Clement prophecies, where my people gathered, those evil Christians that were gathering, they're the ones that brought the virus.
Yeah. It actually sets up a charge, and this
And
electric
that's what they want us
charge,
to
if you will,
believe.
is what's transporting all those minerals and all that, the tree's blood. And it just so happens we're
Christians are
using the
evil.
same layer of
Sure.
strata, if you will, in the bark for what's now called Rocket Man.
And all of
That's
this
pretty
comes
amazing.
from the pages of the Torah, which comes back to the pages of the pages before the flood.
Right.
There's Adam and Eve right there, speaking of that. But the things we've lost while we're focusing on the 666 and the vaccines and all of these things that have lost their flavor, really it's the stuff from the Lord that... Now, I'd like to point out there is one other, in all the statues of Jesus being torn down, statues of Christopher Columbus, statues of any of our founders who were men of prayer. There are some statues, like this one here, that I have not heard any reports about having been anything bad done to. Now, you can see the star, the pentagram on the forehead of the goat. The goat is always hermaphrodite. It's part male, part female, which is one of the big political pushes. And there's always something about the children. The snakes are going to be coming up from where the Yuhu would be on the character, and of course the wings symbolizing this goat-headed character, just like Tammuz or Tammuz, the goat, it was portrayed in the ancient.
The tent service that I worked at, in the beginning of the building of this Noah's Ark, the one he's sitting on now, is we were sent there in the beginning of when it was finally finished and they started having their openings and all that. We were the tent company that did all their tents and all for all their first their openings and all that. Anyway,
Let me tell you something about the evil ones. Enoch came in before the flood. Enoch was before the flood. Enoch was the great, I might have got my grades wrong. He was in the lineage of Noah. There are 10 generations leading from Adam to Noah. Enoch was in that lineage. His document would have been on this boat. Enoch's document would have been on this boat. This is a replica of Noah's Ark that I'm sitting on in Kentucky. I'm sitting at the bow of the boat. The very head of the boat. I'm sitting at the front of the boat.